Okay, today is the 19th of March 2018. It's 35 minutes past 5. You can see I have to wear, so it's insane. I would like to go through absolutely everything I had to do just to try to cope and be able to work. I want to show you how, so people understand why I'm working really slowly. I want you to know what I have to go through. So basically, here are my newest injuries. These were repeated shots to the face that boil tissue, so the tissue tries to heal itself. So you can see shots to the face here. These happened overnight. These are not normal spots because I actually feel when I'm being shot in the face, okay? So you get an absolutely insane flash, very painful, and then you also feel it in the bone. And then the next morning you wake up and suddenly the tissue has tried to repair itself, but basically it has to somehow deal with cooked tissue. Okay, so that's what looks like an inflammation here is actually it trying to cope. I can show you, I think you can see other injuries here. My entire shoulder area looks totally damaged. So my neck as well. You can see the scars there. Sorry, I'll show you what here as well. So I get repeated shots into the arm when they try to jolt my arm at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. So that's why I've got injuries all around there. Now, I would like to explain what I'm trying to do because so far I could actually cope pain-free by just using 6 or 8 layers of metal, of aluminium foil. But now it's not possible anymore. One option is that they shoot microscopic holes into the shielding. This can be done with pulsed lasers, and then people can shoot through that. So it's possible that they have done that. They have absolutely riddled, my shielding in a way I can't tell. And now, or they just cranked up the power. I have no idea. But basically, I now have to sit here, and it's agonizingly painful. What really helps is metal trays. So this is a baking tray here. I have to keep it in front of my chest. So usually I sit like this, and I'm trying to type on my computer, trying to protect heart and breasts and so on. Because, but sometimes I literally just put my arms behind here, and I'm just trying to sit when I'm reading, literally just like that, because my arms are aching and my hand joints are aching as I'm being machine gunned with military pulsed lasers, otherwise known as directed energy weapons. Now, this thing is to try to protect my brain, my back, and actually from that direction, it's amazing how well it actually works. This is Reflectix, in addition to the alu metal sheet, double alu there, and then a double alu layer of Reflectix on the outer perimeter around the bunker. Now, this people mock the tinfoil hat, but if you crumple it up and have many, many layers, it really helps. So either it's blocking out the chip communication. So I've got chips all on my forehead and on the top of my head and so on. These have been measured. And there are also thermal imaging pictures of other victims that show chips clearly. Mine, they haven't heated enough so that actually the FLIR C2 picks it up. So, but the other people with whom they have done that already. So this is heart protection, and I want to show you how I'm sitting here. I'm not sure if you can see, I've got a baking tray to my side to try to block the shots into my kidneys and my liver from the south. So the south is where you saw that massive shot to my head that actually moved the entire metal foil into my face on the previous video. And that's why I need to have literally this metal tray on that side. Then in the beginning, so I need to put this down, even though I'm very reluctant. Now, what I would like to show you is also for those who haven't seen, I'm totally sealed in. So just try to calculate how much air you have in here, right? And how long you can actually sit here and focus. So, okay, so what I had down here, I'm not sure if you can see, this is another baking tray, okay? This, okay. Now this, I have to have my knees, okay? I have to put this on to wrap my knees. Sorry, I try not to jitter so much. I'm trying to wrap my knees around because they are burning my legs. And then my knees, they're trying to put hard shots in. So what I have to do is I have to put this down like that over my knees. Okay, and then basically I am keeping my legs on tiptoes throughout the entire time. to press this against the desk. Okay, and this actually protects my legs from the shots from the east and the northeast, and maybe even the southeast. Okay, so this is how I have to sit just to be able to cope. As soon as I do this, the agonizing pain moves from the knees down to the ankles. So now they are, you know, hitting the ankles. So sometimes I've got a second one, which I just had to put there. That's also a baking tray. I put that on the ankles, and sometimes I'm using that for literally to have something just up there. But this is basically, sorry, I'm just holding the camera free and it's annoying for you to watch. But this is basically how I sit, okay? So imagine sitting like that and trying to work while your neighbors, and talking about the neighbors today, I heard clearly the shots hit the hinges of the door, which are metal, so solid metal, so the door hinges, and hit the shielding of my bunker here. So from that, you know, and it's simultaneous sound, it just goes bam, and you've got the reflectix pop, and you've got the bang of the door hinge. So from that, I can assess the angle, and the angle seems to point at either Langacherstrasse 8, which is the house, the pink house right next to me, the top floor of that, or Langacherstrasse 1. The two are next to each other, even though the numbers 1 and 8 are several apart, because that's odd numbering, and they actually start the number 1 there. So Langacherstrasse 1 and 8 are the prime candidates, I think. So 1 and 8 are the other two houses closer to mine. One of those is basically responsible for these shots, but Langacherstrasse 1 has a direct line of sight into my study. It goes through the dining room window, then the dining room door, through the living room door, through my study door, right at me. And so on that, sorry, this is when my legs get tired and I can't stand on tiptoes anymore. So basically, I'm for the people who might come one day and investigate my murder when this is all done. It is those neighbors, basically. I can't say which one, and I don't want to insult any one of them, but I have to say that Langacherstrasse 1, the flat that's closest to the street, has a direct line of shot into my study. And when my desk was further back towards the west wall, so this is south, okay, this is south, this is north. I'm facing straight east now, and behind me is west, okay? So this entire table used to be closer to the west wall. And then when I was sitting there, I could, when I turned my head, I would notice that the left-hand side of my forehead would get very painful, the skin would start burning, and I would feel like I'm being hammered in the head. So when I looked in that direction, I could see through the study door, through the living room door, through the dining room door and the dining room window, straight at the balcony door of Langacherstrasse 1. So if I wanted to place weapons anywhere, I would place them there. So this is why I suspect them. However, the top floor of Langacherstrasse 8 is also a candidate and could do the same if they pass through, you know, 1 or 2 walls. Yeah, but you have got basically having to pass through air and a wooden door this thick, or you have to pass through 2 walls. And I think, well, I don't know, they can do both. So anyway, this is the update. I am trying to work, but because of this, because I have to continuously rearrange, because I'm continually in pain, in deep agonizing bone pain, which is due to military lasers shooting into me and literally systematically destroying my bones, everything takes twice as long, okay? Now, for all the real investigators out there who maybe exist, sorry, let me just take this off so that I can just address you without being humiliated, just for the last few seconds. Oh yes, and you can see the ever-changing patterns of shots to my face. It's the same effect as here and here, okay? But the skin is very thin on my forehead. So this, I think, is a combination of the skin not being able to take the non-stop emissions from the chips, and then also shots to the head trying to trigger the chips. So this is me, utterly mutilated and and the neighbors don't have to do anything because these guns, you know, they are basically, they can be just placed somewhere, and I think a computer just steers them. So the computer just guns me. They have some sort of way to actually see me through the wall. So it could be through the wall radar, many other things. They are, I think, cluster hitting me, but they also have a way to hone in, maybe perhaps via the chips. So when they're shooting pulses and eventually they hit a chip, they know what direction to aim at. So basically, I've got body markers on me with these biosensors. Now, I also would like to say that most of these biosensors have been implanted in me, as far as I've now established, while I was an undergraduate in Oxford. That was from the years 2000 to 2004. So these chips are, I think, MI5 military technology that has been put into me probably when I was asleep in my student room. All the university students at Oxford sleep in the colleges. We all have little bunny holes that are pathetically small. And then we just sit there and get abused by the college, as it seems. So I also would like to say that Oxford and Cambridge seem to have intimate links to British intelligence, as you would guess. I by now think that there are many intelligence agencies in themselves, and suddenly the entire picture fits. So I would like to say I have these body sensors. I'm being mutilated to death. I can't do my work. I can't really help other victims. I am crawling on my gums, and the people responsible are the intelligence agents at Hertford College and St. John's College, who basically permitted my abuse, because I think Oxford is one of the most surveyed things on earth. I don't think you can even, I don't think a rabbit could cross a road without being recorded. There's also, I have heard testimonies to that effect of people who have seen some of the control rooms hidden away in Oxford. So anyway, this is basically the reality. As far as I can tell, I have been set up already as an undergraduate. I have been experimented on certainly since the year 2000. I have been gang stalked since the year 2000. I've now had my memory, clawed back and restored the events that actually happened, and I've traced back many, many odd things. So now it makes, a lot more sense actually. So I just would like you to know these things. And for everybody who is still left as a decent police officer, intelligence agent, or I don't know what, military who isn't, fucked clean in the head, perhaps one day you could just send some help my way. That would be great. Not least because I'm working really hard to help other people. So if you want to help others, you also could help me, because that would have some amplification effect. Anyway, I will try to continue doing this as much as I can. Now I have to, wrap my throat, because they shot into, basically shooting onto the throat. The thyroid is a favorite, shooting into teeth, into eyes, the brain, especially the brain, and otherwise hearts and organs. So that's what they do. I also tweeted out a documentation that I found for industrial pulsed lasers, showing how they can punch microscopic holes, perfectly circular microscopic holes, the width of, if I remember correctly, something like 20 to 30 microns, high def. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with, okay? I've got many, many other injuries that I still have to list, but this is perverting the course of justice. I am one of the witnesses for Siegfried Thomas's case. I'm also preparing my own court case against British intelligence, and MI6 and MI5 are aware of that. So is GCHQ, and I consider this, what they're doing to me, perverting the course of justice. It's also war crime and a crime against humanity. And the only upside is that crimes against humanity do not have a limitation period. And if anybody tries to tell you, they have to be removed, if anybody tries to tell you otherwise. So everything, war crime tribunals and the concept of crimes against humanity has been devised for exactly situations like these that I find myself in. Okay, I am extremely mutilated. I don't know. I really don't know how long I can do this, but Anyway, back to work. And yeah, for everybody out there actually doing some good work, keep it up and hurry up if you can. Bye for now.